Hello, 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 and welcome to the Manifest on Purpose Mindset Show Backstage. I am the host of that show, Kimberly Williams. You can find that show right here on your YouTube feed. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking the like buttons. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends. And thank you for subscribing and clicking that notification bell so that you can get updates on the newest videos posted. Today's backstage conversation is from conversation number 4. This week, we're talking about loving yourself, self-love. And today's topic is finding value within yourself, knowing your value. This topic is very important to me because there are, even though some people may deny it, there are a lot of people that really don't know what their value is. And that's a shame because learning to love yourself, the first step is to know your value. Because if you know something is valuable, then you do what you have to do to take care of it. And you will be able to hear that in the conversation that I had. I talked about how I value my children and I value them as babies. And because of that, I had to choose the more expensive brand of diapers because I wanted them to have the best. And the same thing about everything in life. Whatever you value, you're going to take care of. And whatever you're valuing, you don't care what the cost is. You don't care. It doesn't matter because it has value. And you add value to the life of others. That's basically what I want you to understand, because there are some people that go around thinking that they had absolutely no value to the world. And those are mostly those negative Nancy's, the ones that are always talking about how bad things are going for them. And I have to beg to differ with that, because most of the time, what I've discovered is that it's not that all negative things are happening to that person. It's that that person is not focused on anything but the negative. So, of course, that's all they'll see. That's what brought me to the way I use to reaffirm the value in my life. And it's something that you can do too. But first, let me tell you, I want you to know that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, what you've been through, what you're going through, or what you've gone through. It doesn't even matter. You add value to this world. You are the creator in physical form. If that's not value, I don't know what is. So you have that advantage off the gate from the jump. So you should already know that you are valuable. The very odds that it took for you to be here, it proves the value in you. All of that you went through in order to become existent in this physical universe proves that your life adds value. And to be honest with you, everyone, everything, every place in this reality, in this existence, in this universe adds value. No matter how small or no matter how big. And that's what I got into, because the micro, the things that you do on a small scale may be unnoticeable to you. It may be something that you just do all of the time, and it seems like it's something very little. But those things go on to affect the microcosm, the macrocosm. I'll get it right in a little bit. But what I'm saying is, the things that you do that may seem so little to you, it affects the world that we live in. That means you have the ability to add value. Now, all you have to do is look for ways to find that value. And that's the technique I was talking about. And I told you at the beginning of this year, get your journal out, get your notebook out, because these things I want you to journal about. I want you to start documenting every time in your life you add value to yourself. That could be something like taking a new class, exercising for the day. You ate a balanced diet for the day. You smiled a little bit more today than you did yesterday. Those things are adding value. No matter how tiny those things are, I want you to write them down in your journal. That's not the only thing I want you to write down. Every time you add value to someone else, I want you to write it down. And I talked about in the conversation how sometimes something that seems so small to us can be so big for someone else. And I remember this from when I was working in the healthcare industry. Sometimes just greeting a person would change the way you make them feel. You know, they're coming in, some of them with fear. You don't know what they may be going through. But when they walk through the door and they see that smiling, warm, inviting face, it absolutely changes everything. Not only does it change the way they feel, it changes the way they heal. Because if you're feeling good in your mind, you're gonna feel good in your body. So when you see someone on the street and you just happen to smile at that person and say hello, or maybe someone you haven't seen in a long time, you may give them a hug and tell them that you love them. You don't know. That person could be going through something at that very moment. And what you did, the thing that seemed so tiny and minute to you, could be the thing that get them through what they're going through. So don't say it's too small to write down. No, I want you to write all that down too. Everything you do, every compliment you add, every time you make someone smile, every time you teach somebody how to do something, every time you can be there to listen when someone needs someone to listen to. Write it down in your journal. That's not all I want you to write down. Yeah, I told you you're going to be busy, more like a notebook than a journal. But that's not all I want you to write down. Everything you do in your environment to add value to the environment. And in the conversation, I gave the illustration of you taking a few extra steps to toss your trash in the garbage rather than just being a litter bug. It changes the environment. So I want you to go ahead and document that too. Everything that you do to add value to this lifetime, whether it be to you, someone else, or the environment, I want you to document that down. And as you're documenting it down, because I don't want you to just be writing this just to be writing this. As you're documenting this down, I want you to be in gratitude. I want you to be in gratitude because you changed yourself. You added value to yourself because you added value to someone else, or because you added value to this environment that we're all sharing. I want you to be in gratitude for that. And every time you think about something negative that's going on in your life, I want you to pull that power list out. And I want you to go through that list. And we used to call it back in the day, counting your blessings. I want you to go down that list and I want you to empower yourself with that list. And the way that you empower yourself with that list is by showing that you add value. Because when you show you add value, you can begin to love yourself. When you see the value in you begin to love yourself. Let me tell you, there's no way that a person can truly know and believe that the Creator is a part of them and not feel value and not feel that they love themselves. So today's conversation really was the conversation to let you know that in order to begin to love yourself, you have to first find value in yourself. It's not hard to do, but we're not used to that. We've been programmed for so many other things that is not something that we often think about. Sometimes people think of it as being conceited, thinking that you're the one that's saying, I did this and I did that, like you're boasting or bragging. But no, that's not what it is. That is self-empowerment. You have to be able to do that. When you see the value that you add, you will begin to love yourself. And another thing I discussed in this too is when you see the value in you, you'll start to set boundaries for yourself. Because let me tell you, when you don't have boundaries, some people will tend to try to walk all over you. They will tend to try to make your decisions for you. They will tend to try to tell you what's best for you. They will tend to bring that negativity to you every single time to bring you down. And guess what? The key to that is no one can ever love you any more than you love yourself. So when you raise your values, you're forced to raise your standards, which is basically raising your boundaries. And when you raise your boundaries, it's just like telling those people that don't mean anything good for you in your life, you need to back off. That's basically what you're doing. And it's time to start standing up for yourself. It's time, I don't know why I'm feeling this energy, but I'm just feeling the energy that it's time for someone to start standing up for yourself. Because people will make you feel like something is wrong with you when you do try to stand up for yourself. But if you don't stand up for yourself and if you don't have love for yourself, you can't offer that for no one else. And for those that can accept your standards, for those that can accept your boundaries, you don't need them in your life anyway. You really don't. And it's not necessary for me to continue to go on to say, don't let them do that anyway. Don't let them overstep your boundaries. It's going to be an imaginary line there. You won't even have to say anything. They'll see the growth in you. They'll see that you're not down with that same crazy stuff that you were months ago. They'll see the difference. And most of the time, to be honest with you, most of those people just fall off anyway. So there it is. Find the value in yourself to begin to love yourself. Because let me tell you, you can't be as good as you are and not know it. I know you know it. I know you know it. So go ahead and show it and bring that love out for yourself. So here you are. Know your values. Begin to love yourself and set boundaries for yourself. And begin to finally do the things in your life that you want to do. It's all about finding that value within. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose.